Sheriff, I think. Are you going? I think they relieved her. She relieved Courtney.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I saw her
It's all
leaving,
good.
and I'm like, I didn't want her just leaving.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Everyone ready? Okay, I'll start it in English, say some words in Spanish, and then I'll open it up for any question. Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff. Just very heartbroken, very sad day here in our county and beyond. Just the loss of a hero, a loss of a deputy is just heartbreaking and something that we're never truly prepared for, and that's what we're confronted with today. I'll try to give just a brief recap of what we know and then kind of answer any questions and let you know what phase we're in now. I do want to emphasize that all of this is still somewhat preliminary. Believe it or not, we're still in the early stages of our investigation, so some information is still fragmented. We're still trying to put pieces together. We have an active manhunt and other pieces of the investigation all happening simultaneously. What we know is that yesterday evening, sometime at approximately 10 p.m., at the Little Caesars right behind me, there was some type of disturbance that had occurred. The information we received is that a patron, a customer, had become irate because apparently the staff here had given him the wrong order or something to that effect. The individual then confronted an employee in his early 20s. The suspect allegedly became violent and physical with that employee. It's my understanding that he pistol whipped the employee, causing injury, and that's the information that we had that transpired here. Deputies responded to the location, and we began kind of pursuing, trying to locate who that individual was that had harmed an employee, unnecessarily in that manner. So one of those deputies that was out here was Fernando Esqueda. Deputy Esqueda was out here. It's been part of our efforts to surge additional resources into our patrol districts. And so he was out here being the type of deputy that he was relentless. He continued out here in the general area and beyond, searching for that possible suspect and that possible suspect vehicle. That investigation led him to the 10,300 block of Blue Wonder, which is several miles from here. At that point, and again, this is all still preliminary, he was conducting some type of follow-up investigation out there when he was possibly ambushed. We're still trying to get more information on that, but gunfire erupted and he was fatally struck. He did have his police gear on him at the time of the incident. Some colleagues were able to arrive quickly at the location, knowing that he was conducting a follow-up. Obviously, he was wounded, critically wounded at that point, and they made the decision to transport him in a private vehicle to a hospital where almost immediately he was pronounced deceased. Briefly, about Deputy Esqueda. Deputy Esqueda comes from a wonderful family, so much promise unfulfilled, taken at such a young age, only 28 years of age. He had been with our agency now approximately 5 years and worked in our elite violent persons task force. So as a matter of his normal duties, he went after the worst of the worst in our community and did outstanding work. He joined our agency in 2019. He had graduated from the University of Houston Downtown Police Academy and also served with other agencies, and then early on had work patrol out in this district that we're in right now and also further north as well. So he was very familiar with the area. And so he was just outstanding. He loved being a deputy. He loved serving and protecting the community. He truly was a crime fighter, the type of deputies we want. And that's why we had them out here, is to fight crime. We knew a lot of people were going to be taking advantage of the storm and hurricane and people's hardship, and wanted to make sure that we were holding the line and protecting. So all our deputies have been working 12-hour shifts. Not only have they been impacted by the storms, but they're out here protecting and serving. And overnight, Deputy Esqueda lost his life in service to the community as he was trying to identify and locate a violent suspect. We did locate the vehicle that we believe was connected to the scene here at Little Caesars. There is still going to be a scene investigation that's undergoing at that location on Blue Wonder. Ronnie Palmer was not located at that location. He was identified as the alleged suspect in the aggravated assault. Charges have been filed and on that, so he does have an active warrant, and he's also a person of interest at this point. No charges have been filed in connection to the capital murder of our deputy, but he is a person of interest. And so just with all those factors pieced together, he should be considered a person that's armed and dangerous. And so there is an active manhunt. I want to thank all our partners, our law enforcement partners. We have multiple agencies that have been working around the clock. The district attorney's office is working with us hand in hand as well to give us any legal guidance and assistance that we need. I want to thank Judge Hidalgo, County Attorney Menifee, so many others that have already reached out in our community for the outpouring of support. We're sharing that with the family as well, so they're very touched, obviously, as they continue to grieve and our agency grieves. I always say when a deputy or a lawman or person is killed in the line of duty, it's not just a loss to the agency, it's to our community. We have one less crime fighter out there that's serving and protecting, and very upsetting and very disappointing, not only here, but just the assaults on law enforcement across this nation that we've seen this year. And so just very saddened by that, but we're gonna hold strong. We're still being mindful of protecting our community while this is going on, but we're gonna be doing things simultaneously. We're not gonna rest until we find them. I'm out here as well, and want to just thank all our partners out here that have been assisting us to try to locate Palmer. And I want to give a stern warning to anybody, and I've said it before, and you've heard me say it, you could be implicated, you could be arrested for hindering apprehension. He's a wanted suspect on an aggravated assault. So do not hide him out. Do not give him any kind of assistance. And not, you can be implicated. You have two choices. One is you can call Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS and be eligible to receive a reward. Or number two is Palmer's going to be arrested and you're going to be implicated in it too. So it's up to you to decide. I urge you to make the right choice and go with option one, which is to cooperate. Give us a call. Let us know where he was seen. We want this to end peacefully. And for no one else to get hurt. Briefly in Spanish, anoche aproximadamente a las 10 de la noche en este restaurante de Little Caesars recibimos una llamada donde un individuo se sospecha que vino al local, estaba molesto porque la orden que había recibido no era la orden correcta. Comenzó se enfrentó con uno de los empleados, un chavo de solamente como entre 20 a 25 años de edad, y lo comenzó a tocar. Nos dijeron que parece ser que lo atacó al empleado con una pistola de arma, que lo golpeó con la arma. No le disparó, pero sí lo golpeó de una manera grave, y huyó de la local. El oficial Esqueda es uno de los oficiales extras que hemos tenido aquí esta semana para proteger a nuestra comunidad después del huracán que ocurrió, para que haya más vigilancia aquí en la comunidad. Él, por su propio hecho, comenzó a buscar y pudo localizar, nos imaginamos, algo que le dio pensar de que era el individuo responsable aquí. Y sí encontramos el carro en ese local que había estado conectado. No sabemos exactamente qué es lo que pasó, pero el oficial Esqueda fue asaltado con balas y fue herido. Fue trasladado a un hospital por otros oficiales en una manera de emergencia, pero lamentable murió casi al llegar al hospital, ya estaba muerto. Entonces nuestras oraciones están con su familia. El individuo es identificado como Ronnie Palmer. Ya pusimos la foto, lo estamos buscando. Le hicimos al público, por favor, que hablen a Crime Stoppers al 713-222-8477. Pueden hablar de una manera anónima, pero nadie lo debe de estar tratando de esconder ni asistir, porque también pueden perjudicarse en este caso. En este momento solamente pensamos que es una persona sospechosa conectado con el crimen de la muerte del oficial Esqueda. Por el momento no hay cargos en ese caso específico, sino solamente en el cargo que están aquí, que son cargos de felonía, un asalto agravado que pasó aquí esta noche. Entonces vamos a estar trabajando hasta que lo podemos localizar, y le pedimos el apoyo a la familia y las oraciones para esta familia muy unida, que lamentable tiene una pérdida que no tiene palabras para la pérdida de ellos. But again, want to close with condolences to the Esqueda family. I know the family. They're a wonderful family, and just we're grieving with them. Their loss is going to be more unique and harder felt than even for us, but to all his colleagues, to all the law enforcement community that reach out, again, thank you so much, and we have faith in our greater Harris County community that they will call, we will get tipsters, we will have the support of our community as we always do. So I'll open it up for any questions.
Sheriff, was there a standoff at the Blue Wander for him, that street? Isn't that where he lives?
Yes, we believe Palmer is connected to a residence there. We still are trying to piece together what transpired when Deputy Esqueda made his way to that location, what he observed. That is still a little bit unclear to us at this point. But we know is that when he was out there, he was in an unmarked truck at the time, that something obviously happened where he was gunned down. It seems that it happened very quickly, so we don't know if it's some type of ambush. That's just speculation at this point. We haven't confirmed that. We don't know exactly what transpired there, other than he sustained sustained gunfire there at that location. But we don't know about any standoff or anything like that. We committed a search, but we never could pin him down anywhere.
So it was a search, not a
search, not a standoff.
At a residence he's connected to.
Yes, correct. He may reside there. I haven't confirmed that, but I believe he was residing there.
Algo así, el oficial Esqueda era hispano. ¿Cuánto tiempo
Sí,
tenía
era
el servicio de la policía? ¿Y cuál es la conexión del sospechoso muerto?
Era un hombre, Fernández Queda es un hombre hispano con raíces en la República de México, solamente 28 años de edad. Estaba preparándose para casarse, un oficial muy trabajador, solamente 28 años, y había estado con nuestra agencia por 5 años.
¿Creen que esta persona que están buscando estaría vinculada con el asesinato del oficial?
Pensamos que es posible, pero en este momento no le hemos puesto cargo, solamente pensamos que está conectado, pero no sabemos hasta qué nivel.
Sheriff, what have you heard from neighbors and people in their residence? I know that, we've been told that this man is apparently a good man to society. He was a coach, he, was, a positive light in the community. What have you heard from neighbors in this investigation?
I haven't personally spoken to the neighbors, so I really can't comment, good or bad, on any feedback that they've offered at this point. It appears that Palmer may have been arrested years ago, last we know of, but we don't know of anything recent at this point. That'll be part of, obviously, our investigation, just as we piece everything together. And look, if he's out there listening to us, turn yourself in. Let us talk to you. Let's find out what happened here. Let's resolve this, as a peaceful way, so nobody else gets hurt. That's our ask. We'll have plenty of time to determine his background and things like that, and talk to neighbors and other things like that. That's what our initial follow-up and scene investigation will consist of as well.
How are y'all?
I'm not sure of that. I know he was removed from the vehicle, so I don't know if he fell out already or he was still in his truck. I don't know that detail yet. We've been kind of dealing with so many things at once. I don't know that specific detail.
Where was his car found?
It was found right off that Blue Wonder location, I'm sorry, the truck, the vehicle was found at the Blue Wonder location, at the residence.
Okay.
At the residence.
The suspect's vehicle?
Palmer's vehicle, or the vehicle associated. I don't know if it's his vehicle per se or he borrowed it. I don't know that. But the vehicle that was associated with this incident that initially led Esqueda to kind of start piecing things together. And again, I want to commend him. He was a crime fighter. He could have just said, all right, we took the report, let's go on to the next thing. But he was relentless and he was going to let it go. Something about this really got to him, obviously. And again, he was part of our surge resources that we have out here. All our deputies been working 12-hour shifts, and then we added some more so we could be protecting the community. So he stayed with it, though, and he kept looking. And we think that was right around midnight when that happened. So it was maybe around 2 hours that had transpired, and he was still on it trying to locate who the suspect was. And that's where we're at today.
Weren't they all together at one point, the deputies, before they split up?
I'm not sure. That's part of what we're going to try to figure out. Like I said, he was part of our additional resources out here. So there may have been together for this initial call when it dropped. I'm sure it was like a fairly high priority call, considering it was some type of ag assault.
But he went to that location by himself.
I
correct?
think they may have been there together at some point, and he just kept making rounds, trying to search for the vehicle, and eventually came back to the location. I don't know what he encountered or who he encountered. there may have been multiple suspects. There could have been one. Again, we don't know. And I want to be very clear, Palmer has not been charged in that case, but he is a person of interest, and we'd like to have a conversation with him.
But right now, he's just a person of interest.
A person of interest in the capital murder. He's a suspect and has been charged in the aggravated assault here at this location, but we believe there could be a connection ultimately to both incidents. But we don't know to what extent. So
when you guys searched his house, was there anyone else in there that gave any information?
the search is still going to be underway at that location. Just we had to get legal guidance and other warrants and things like that. So I believe that's still an ongoing process this morning. I do not believe there's been a deep dive or search as of yet. But in terms of personnel or people there, I don't believe there was anybody at the home at the time. But I may be wrong, but I wasn't giving any indication that there were other people in the house at the time.
Since we were told they tore down the garage. What was that for? Did you hear anything about that?
I don't know if they attempted to make entry or not. I don't know what happened.
Since there's not necessarily a suspect, is there a blue alert issued in the state for this guy?
Probably not, because he hasn't been charged with this yet, other than just being a person of interest. But we do have an active warrant for him, a felony warrant, and so we're pursuing him on that. But again, he's a person of interest on the other, and we're getting his information out there as well. And I'll check with our team to see if a blue warrant is authorized under the circumstances that we have right here. If it is, obviously we'll use every tool. But for now, he's still showing one everywhere. So again, want to make sure that whoever knows his whereabouts to please call it in.
Alguacil, ¿esta área en específica tiene electricidad, tiene energía eléctrica, que se les ha hecho difícil ver las cámaras de seguridad puesto que esto ocurrió en la noche?
No he hablado con los investigadores sobre ese tema en particular, pero es algo que siempre pedimos, es que por favor utilicen sus cámaras para ver si pudieron ver algo que sucedió. She was asking that appears that residential area around Blue Wonder does have some power, and if surveillance footage or anything has been captured. Again, it's been a very dynamic, active scene all throughout the night, so I haven't been given that specific detail of any video has been captured, but that's always kind of protocol that we always ask our community to please review their cameras if they have them. Anything that they may have heard or seen, it would have been around any time, potentially from the 10 o'clock hour when this happened all the way to right around midnight when the shooting of Deputy Esqueda occurred.
Where's the deputy's car now?
The deputy's car,
Is that still at the scene?
I'm not sure if I haven't made it out to the physical scene yet, so I don't know if they still have it there. It was there. I don't know if it's since been moved out there. They may have been dealing with the external aspects of the scene before they could get into the house.
Where was he shot? Where was he shot?
Upper torso somewhere, but I don't know the exact location.
Was that his personal truck or?
It was a county vehicle that he used for his assignment.
Was he undercover?
He was in uniform. He was just doing additional patrol duties out here to support in a quasi undercover surveillance kind of aspect, but obviously was in uniform as well, and so that's what he was doing.
Generally speaking, have you guys been dealing with more calls than normal of violence or aggression because of the power outage and heat and things like that?
We've seen an increase in calls overall, pretty high volume for a variety of things. We haven't measured it yet, just because we're still in the middle of it. If it's been like increased violence per se, obviously everybody's patience is wearing thin. I posted something yesterday with the long lines and gas and food and people's tempers. I mean, power outages. Our community is suffering, and so I'm not sure yet if we've pinpointed to see if there's an uptick in more violence. We've been able to, I feel fairly confident we've been able to really keep a lid on a lot of violent crime with the increased presence all throughout the district around the clock. I've been out there at times myself, and there's still nonsense happening. It's still happening for sure, but I don't know if there's necessarily an uptick, just more than people being frustrated, aggressive driving and things like that, cutting in front of people, or the situations that happen at the gas stations.
Were you all able to get video from the Little Caesars that showed the incident? Is that how y'all identified Ronald Palmer?
I haven't gotten into what steps they got to identify that. Like the team had already, the initial deputies, including Esqueda, had already done a good job of of getting on this pretty quickly. And so that was one aspect of the information. So we have a lot of simultaneous investigations happening all at once. So some of that initial police work that they did was instrumental in kind of us being able to piece it pretty quickly on Palmer's alleged involvement in the aggravated assault here at the location.
Do we have his age?
I think he was born in '79. I posted it on the post. I don't have it in front of me.
Did we find out what happened with the communication issue when it came to the radios versus the cell phone?
No, not sure exactly what happened. Everything transpired pretty quick. It appears or it seems that he was out there on his own when this transpired. And I think he was on the phone. I don't know if he had any issues with his radio or not. It does not appear that he put himself out there per se to say, I'm at this location right now. So that's just part of, we'll have to just figure out what happened, or maybe, again, that's why he may have been ambushed, where he didn't anticipate somebody maybe walking up on him or something. Again, that's all speculation at this point. But it seemed like it whatever happened, or however it transpired, it went down very quickly.
Okay. And just to confirm, he was not ambushed while he was on the cell phone, it was afterwards. And do you know how long afterwards?
It seems like it happened around the same time, but I don't know the sequence or if he was on the phone at that exact time or not, but it was all within that sequence of events. That's why I think it may have happened very quickly.
And he didn't even get a chance to fire his weapon, correct?
From our early initial investigation, it does not appear that he had a chance to return fire.
And when you hear this all started with the wrong pizza order, what's your message to the community about it?
You know, it's so frustrating. I mean, senseless violence, and I mean, we've talked about this before. We've heard other incidents of people upset over an order. It's like people just need to chill out, just make better decisions. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. These people are here providing a service and trying to serve the community instead of being shut down. I'm sure they probably have hardships in their own homes, probably not getting paid a lot of money, and just to serve the community, it didn't have to get to this point. Obviously, regardless of what ultimately happened to Esqueda, even these people were traumatized as well, and they'll forever be connected perhaps to the broader situation with Esqueda. It's just heartbreaking. A lot of this crime is so senseless and unnecessary, and people just take to violence so quickly. And again, we know it's hot. We know people are without power. There's other things, dynamics happening. We get it. We're all human, but all our communities suffering. It's been a tough week, and we just got to stick together and get through this, and we will. But we're not going to rest until we locate Palmer and get to the bottom of it, or anybody else that may have been involved. And if anybody else was out there, come forward and give us information. Phone it in.
So where do you go next from here?
I'm going to be out in the field. We're around the clock. We're meeting, debriefing, trying to. It's an active manhunt at this point, and any developments, we'll make sure we update it. And so we appreciate all our media partners for always giving information out, and we appreciate it. You're an important part of protecting our community.
And Sheriff, when you find out if the truck in the driveway with the bullet holes at the scene belonged to the deputy, is there a way to get that information?
The truck, if it had bullet strikes, it would have been his truck.
Just wanted to
yes,
make sure
it was a pickup truck.
Okay.
So it would have been. Yes,
truck, so
it
that
was
is-
a pickup
okay.
truck. Yes. Anybody else?
I was speaking with some deputies yesterday working at a substation who said that basically that they had seen kind of an uptick in kind of, well, maybe not uptick, but seen some calls on kind of like domestic violence stuff, after barrel and all that. What are the resources or any suggestions you might have, kind of to your point of what can people do when they're feeling frustrated and seeing problems in the home?
Yeah, look, I mean, I wish there was one solution for everybody. Obviously, everybody's going to deal with frustration and stress. It's very frustrating, but there's got to be other options. I know I personally have advertised some of the cooling centers that are out there that are options. Other resources are available. A lot of the area elected officials are sharing and providing information on providing water and other things. So there are a lot of things, and unfortunately, just like we saw during COVID, for example, when people are holed up in a location, you get kind of that cabin fever that's referenced sometimes where temperatures are already low, there's other triggers, and people just lose their cool, and it leads to increased domestic violence. I was out there, the other night, and you hear just the calls for service disturbances happening. I'm like, man, we're in the middle of a recovery of a hurricane. We've all been impacted. People are still feuding and having conflict, and you would think that it would be like, hey, let's unite and let's get through this together, but there's still disturbances and issues going on. Intoxicated drivers and impaired drivers and things like that. But yeah, there's not one thing, just there's resources out there, and follow your media outlets for resources. I'm sure all of you are providing information on resources.
Can you help provide a recent picture of Ronald so we can get out there?
The one I
Keep our eyes
posted,
on
I
him?
think the most recent we
Okay.
had. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yeah. We'll provide something later if something